It's revealed in Season 4's episode Flight to the Finish that Scootaloo is of an age where most Pegasus ponies are able to fly, and yet she can't. While it's not explicitly stated whether or not she's disabled or just a late bloomer, the possibility that her wings may never develop is mentioned. Lauren Faust stated in a 2012 interview that Scootaloo was originally intended to be flightless. Given the name she's called in the first 2 seasons, Chicken and Dodo, it's easy to see that as a developing possibility. This made me even more curious to see how DHX would handle this subject given Faust's departure from the series. The plot is fairly simple. The CMC want to develop a flag carrying routine so they can become Ponyville's carriers for the Equestria Games. They come up with the perfect idea to represent their town. They're each one type of pony, and in Ponyville all ponies seem to get along perfectly despite their differences. From the start, Scootaloo's inability to fly was unimportant to the CMC, yet after it was pointed out as a potential weakness, it quickly escalates into the most pivotal part of their routine. People who realize they are deficient can sometimes have that deficiency take over, especially if they feel it could result in them not measuring up. Under these circumstances, it's understandable to obsess over something like this. Scootaloo feels a mixture of pressure coming from Rainbow Dash, who has described carrying the banner as a filly, her teammates who she assumes want an able-bodied Pegasus to represent all of Ponyville, the ponies who are going to be judging her, and of course, herself. Her fears quickly become out of control, and the episode shows the drawbacks for such an unhealthy obsession. Her desire to triumph over her shortcomings alienates her friends and potentially damages her self-esteem. After she's failed to fly and her friends have told her to stay home because she expresses doubt that she'll just hold the team back, she attempts to throw away her scooter, the one thing she knows she's good at. Ouch. This episode is really not about why Scootaloo can't fly, but rather accepting one's limitations and seeing that someone is still capable of success even though he or she may not be able to do things others can naturally do, such as walking, climbing stairs, reading, using an arm, etc., etc., etc. The judge, Ms. Harshwini, accidentally sets up a scenario under which the fillies can't easily get mediation for the nearest adult, their coach Rainbow Dash. She tells Rainbow to act professionally, and as a result, Rainbow's initial reaction to the CMC's first all-inclusive version of their routine is far too controlled. They expect her to be wowed, and she is, but she calmly tells them to keep up the good work and that maybe success will come their way if they keep at it. They really don't know what to make of this, as it's not typical of Rainbow Dash, so they're kind of confused. Her second reaction to their clumsier routine, which centers more around Scootaloo, is a bit more honest, but she's been told to keep her emotions in check, so she hurries to distance herself from the fillies in favor of helping another team. As a result of trying to improve the way Dash does her job, Ms. Harshwini has left her acting in a way that isn't true to herself, thus rendering her less effective. Of course, Rainbow Dash does finally step in when she notices Scootaloo's absence as the teams are on their way to tryouts. She asks the CMC directly why Scootaloo isn't with them, and they tell her. The only way she feels she can represent Ponyville is to fly, so she's not going. They don't want to quit her. How their routine is supposed to work without a Pegasus is beyond me, but I can suspend my disbelief as it's pretty apparent they hadn't thought this through and just reacted out of frustration. Rainbow and the rest of the Crusaders go to Scootaloo's house, and Rainbow cheers her up, telling her that she's an individual that's going to have her own experiences, and that she's awesome just the way she is. If her wings don't develop, that's kind of besides the point. It's a very sweet scene, but I do remember another person reviewing this episode already commenting on this. Why is Dash flying? It's minor, but it would seem to be in poor taste if I were Scootaloo, frankly. Another aspect I thought got brilliantly handled was Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon's teasing. It's realistic in that they make it pretty clear while watching the CMC that they genuinely feel threatened, a fairly common reason bullies do what they do. They attempt to knock the Cutie Mark Crusaders down a peg only to have it not work. They've called the CMC blank flanks before, so what else is new? When a bully's teasing doesn't work, sometimes they resort to crueler methods. They lash out at Scootaloo's deficiencies. It's slow, but it's supposed to be. And I found myself feeling genuinely awful for Scootaloo. Madeline Peters generally plays Scootaloo in a way that almost imitates Rainbow Dash, because Rainbow Dash is kind of supposed to be her idol. But after she's crushed emotionally, her voice becomes higher, softer, and weaker. The act is gone. And it's just Scootaloo. and Scootaloo's hurt. Lastly, the song's Hearts as Strong as Horses. I like it. While it's not the best MLP's offered, the actresses are all singing for their parts and they make pretty good harmony. Individually, their voices are adorable. Instrumentally, some say it could have used more percussion, but when I think of the song, the first thing that comes to mind is the mandolin and the neat patterns the fillies are making in the beginning, crisscrossing in front of each other. It's an effective training montage, very visual and somewhat simple, but with cute sight gags throughout. The lyrics may seem redundant to some, but I didn't notice until a number of viewers pointed it out. If anything, they drive home the point, and it makes a good reprise as Scootaloo is shown pulling the CMC through town on her scooter over to the Crystal Empire. That's pretty far, Scootaloo. So that's it for the mini review. In closing, it's a good episode, clear moral about not letting your deficiencies hold you back. It's not the best episode, but it did what it set out to do without being so heavy that it could potentially, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not too intense. I'm Wayward Pony. Peace out.